What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the SooSooToys Red Galaxy Warrior, aka Lost Galaxy Red Ranger. Alright, so we got our boy here, Leo Corbett, the Lost Galaxy Red Ranger, and man, I loved Lost Galaxy as a season when I was doing my Ranger Marathon. When I got to Lost Galaxy, I was pretty hyped, and I ended up liking it even more than I thought I would. I knew Lost Galaxy was a pretty decent season, just from the glimpses that I got of it as a kid. I remember watching a little bit of it on TV, but yeah, going back as an adult and like watching it again, I was like, wow, this is actually a really good season, like better than I thought. And I had seen things about Magnet Defender, of course, who is a goat. All right, I remember as a kid I had his sword, his little plastic sword. It was like a Target version of his sword. And I remember I got it, and yeah, that was a really cool toy when I was a kid. And I always knew Magnet Defender was just a badass, but going back and rewatching it, I was like, I was so blown away by just how dope Magnet Defender was, and all the Rangers really. Even Leo, Leo is definitely no Red Ranger to sleep on. Bro is the business, all right. He knows how to throw down. But yeah, So absolutely killed this release, just like all the other Rangers that we've been looking at. So I'm very very excited to showcase him here for you guys and show you guys what he's all about and what he can do. And I just got him in a simple little pose here. You can see I got him holding his Quasar saber over his head. I wanted to do something a little different as far as like a sword holding pose. So I got him doing something like that, which I thought was like a nice little homage to them pulling, or spoiler alert for those of you that haven't seen Lost Galaxy, maybe go watch the show and then come back to this review. But spoiler alert, they do pull their swords out of like rocks, very similar to like the Excalibur tale. Even though technically they say that the guy King Arthur that pulled Excalibur out of the sword, or out of the rock. I guess he broke the actual first sword, and then he was gifted the true Excalibur by like some lady or something. I guess that's how the story goes. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's how it goes. But yeah, so I like the fact that they kind of did that in Lost Galaxy. I thought that was a really cool, homage to Excalibur and whatnot. Even if the story isn't 100% correct, but yeah, really, really dope. So that's why I got him in that pose there. And you can see I got his, for a backdrop, we have his little slip cover that came in the packaging, which I think does look very, very nice. Love all the fire behind him, and the little V symbol that is present on his belt. So yeah, very very cool there. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get him on the rotating display stand so we can take a nice 360 look at him. I'm just gonna get him in a nice neutral pose. Nothing nothing too crazy right now. Trying to decide if I should leave his sword in his hand or not while we do this. I'm gonna take the sword out for now, and then I'll show you guys closer detail when we get to the accessories. But for now, we'll just have him in a nice standard neutral pose as he rotates here. So let me get him situated. But yeah, man, this figure does look amazing. Now I have one small gripe with this figure, very very minor gripe, but it is something that I mentioned to my boy that Metromania, and we were talking about it. And he was joking around saying like, oh, they probably did this just to bug you specifically. And I was like, man, must be, bro, must be. But nah, we were actually talking about it, and he kind of like was telling me why he thinks that they did this certain thing with his figure, and it actually makes a lot of sense when I think about it. So yeah, there's a very good chance that the reasoning why they did this certain thing that I wasn't super fond of at first. But again, like I said, it's a minor gripe, so it really doesn't like take away from the figure or anything. I just thought it would be something to mention to you guys about this guy that I wasn't crazy about straight out of the packaging, but like I said, it is a very minor gripe. So I'll show you guys here in a second. I guess I'll just mention it, but basically this lower torso part of him on his costume, the red basically right below his the white part of his torso, and just above his belt, is actually done in a different material. It's done in that kind of like leathery material that the White Ranger had for like the black parts of his costume for like the spikes and stuff. And so out of the packaging, I did think that was kind of odd. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, why wouldn't they just make it fabric like the rest of the suit? But Metro and I were talking, and he was saying that we were speculating that a reason for that might be that they didn't want like a ugly seam line kind of going, like right below the white. Like it was probably easier for them to switch the materials between here and here. And I was telling them, I was like, I think you're right. That honestly makes a lot of sense, because I was kind of thinking about that too. I was like, would it look weird if they were to keep the fabric going, like with the red? But I don't know. I just thought that was kind of odd. I was like, he's got his red suit, and obviously in the show, he doesn't have like a different material right here or anything. Like it's the same as all the rest of the red part of his suit. So I thought that was a little odd, but again, just a minor gripe. And honestly, like I'm getting used to it now. Now that I've had him out of the packaging and played around with him for a bit, it's really not a big deal. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take away from the figure at all. I just thought it was something to note. I think my biggest thing, like the biggest issue I was having with it, is that it was I felt like aesthetically it was taking away a little bit from him, because the red again is like done in such a nice like shiny look, like for the fabric parts, and then for his torso, it's just done in like a matte kind of like leathery material, so it doesn't reflect light as well as the rest of his suit. So I think that's that was the main issue. Is not even so much the material difference, it was just aesthetically, like how the light like plays off of his suit was kind of I feel like being detracted by this like kind of matte vinyl or like leathery material that they use right there. But you guys can see it on the display stand. It obviously doesn't look bad, and like I said, it doesn't really take away too much from him. So that is nice to see. But yeah, we'll get him coming around one more time here, and then we'll take him off and take a look at his accessories. I stopped him a little bit early, my bad. But yeah, you guys get the idea. You've seen him. So let's go ahead and put Mr. Leo aside, and let's take a look at what he comes with. All right, so he does have a nice assortment of accessories. Now there is one accessory in here that I was wondering if they included. I had to like double check before the review. I couldn't remember if they had included it with him, and they did not. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's a big thing. Let me just show you guys the accessories first, and then we'll get to that one particular one that I'm talking about. We'll start with the hands. So for the hands, he does come with 2 relaxed hands, just like all the other Rangers that we've seen. So he's got this one right here, and then one of them is actually like already on the figure. I have one of his relaxed hands already on him, but he does have 2, so 1 for each side. And again, the sculpt on these is very nice. The material is great. I want to give a shout out to SooSoo for like how they handle these hands. I really like the material that they use for these hands. It's like a very like flexible rubber material, and so the sculpt for the hands is like very solid, right? It's not a soft sculpt, like you can easily see all the different fingers and whatnot, but the material itself is like very pliable, which I like. It's like a softer rubbery type of like plastic, and so it makes it very easy when you're trying to like say put weapons in their hands, like switch weapons in and out. It makes it very, very easy. So you guys know, like if you've ever owned like Marvel Legends and stuff from Hasbro, sometimes the plastic can be like super hard, and it just like it feels like you're gonna either break the plastic or hurt your hand before you actually like get it to flex the way you want to when you're trying to like put weapons in and out. Either that or the plastic is too gummy. Like sometimes it's like really soft and just gummy, and it doesn't feel like very quality. So it's nice that SooSoo and these 6 scale figures are using like this kind of like nice pliable rubbery material that flexes very well but still holds its shape. So yeah, that's definitely something I wanted to mention in this review. Yeah, I really enjoyed the material that they use for these hands. Very, very nice stuff. But yeah, so he's got the 2 relaxed hands. He has 2 gripping hands. So these are the ones that are not like fully closed fists. You can see there's some space in there between the fingers and his palm. But yeah, these are good for obviously holding like his sword, as you saw, and as well as some of his other weapons that he comes with. But yeah, very, very nice gripping hands, very nicely detailed with the wrinkles, nice white paint. All the details are there. And then of course you have your two fist hands, which look just as good. Fully closed, clenched fist right here. Got all the wrinkles and things in the gloves, very realistic. And yeah, very, very nice material. So yeah, you got two fist hands, and last but not least, you have two kind of style posed hands. So very similar to the red Turbo Ranger that we looked at yesterday. These are kind of like, semi curled in finger hands to get him into like, dynamic poses to look kind of intimidating. But yeah, these look just as good as all of the rest. And yeah, so there you go. Very, very nice paintwork there as well with the white. And of course he comes with his signature SooSootoys display stand. So let me pull that out. We have our acrylic display stand. Now this one I'm noticing actually kind of has like a fogginess to it, which I don't think the other ones had. They seemed like they were purely like clear and transparent or translucent. But this one seems to have like a little bit of like a film over it, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see, this one I'm trying to remember where I got him from. I don't know if it was 1/6 or if it was Toku Collectibles. I don't think it was TNS figures. I'm pretty sure it was either 1/6 or Toku Collectibles, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of odd. I feel like I haven't really seen this kind of like film, cloudier version of the stand with any of the other Rangers. It almost seems like it's got like some like speckling or like spots in there too. I don't know. It almost looks like a little galaxy, which is kind of cool, I guess. A little homage to Red Galaxy Ranger, right? Lost Galaxy. And then you have, of course, your stand, your little crotch grabber stand that you can install into the base. So yeah, there is that. All right. But we probably don't care too much about the stand, do we? We want to see the weapons that he comes with. So I guess I'll start with the closed version of his sword. He has the closed version of the Quasar Saber right here, which looks very, very nice. Very good paintwork on that. Love the silver paint for like the, retracted blade, and then the gold up top for the tip, as well as the gold for like this part at the handle. And it is a different gold, which I like compared to like this one up here. This is like a more shinier, kind of more yellow gold. This is more like a true gold, a little bit darker, got closer to like a bronze type of color to it. But it looks very, very good. You can see just like all the intricate details in there. The sculpt of like the lion, very similar to his helmet in the center there, which is really nice. And then you have the gold and the black on the edges there, and then like these two like red little dots on the side, almost look like rubies, as well as at the bottom right here. And then you have this nice black zigzag pattern going down the gold there, which is really, really cool. You got the white on the sides and some more gold on the tip, and it looks like that on both sides. So that is very, very nicely done. Great paintwork, great sculpt there by Soso. And you have his trans dagger. So one thing I noticed when watching Lost Galaxy is that the trans daggers seem to like vary, like they look a little bit different depending on like what ranger I guess is using them, or I don't know, it's like, or I guess they have like different modes. So some of them I think like this one is just like basically one straight like little spike thing, right? And then you have like the two little cannons right here and a handle for him to hold it, which is, obviously very nicely detailed as you see. But I think it was like the Green Ranger, he has like more of like a blaster type of look to his trans dagger. Like when I reviewed that Lightning collection for you, you could kind of see it. It looked a little bit different, or I don't know if this like opens up, because you can see there's clearly like a line down the middle here, so maybe this like opens up into two parts. I think that might be how it works. This probably has like different modes that you can put it in, but for Red, they just gave it to him in this basic style right here. So it kind of looks like it's, in its like, powered down, or I don't know, detracted mode, whatever you want to call it. But it does look very, very nice. I like this kind of red color that they put in here. It's like a very distinct type of red. I don't know how to describe it. Almost like a blood red. It's like pretty dark, but it does have that nice like engraving inside of there with all the black line work. That is so clean. And then you have like the red zigzag pattern going up this part with the gold. Nice kind of like gun metal type of gray or silver for the main part of the dagger. And then you got this kind of darker gray for the barrels, which look very, very nice. And just some basic black kind of plastic or paint for the handle, but it does look very, very cool. So he has the trans dagger. And last but certainly not least, he has his famous Quasar Saber. And these, I gotta say, these are probably some of my favorite swords in all the Power Rangers. I love the design of the Quasar Sabers. I just love how, like, you know, medieval and ancient times they look. It just looks like, you know, royal, like exquisite. Like you had to be somebody to wield this type of sword, you know what I mean? And I absolutely love the design of the Quasar Sabers so much. I love like the length of the blade and how, again, the gold tip looks very, very nice against like the silver of the rest of the sword. And then all these engravings going down the middle right here towards the bottom. If I can get some focus on it. Focus. Where are you at, focus? There you go. So you can see all those nice engravings in there with the black. I absolutely love that. I have no idea what those symbols are supposed to mean, but they do look really, really good. And again, it has that same great paintwork that the closed version had down here at the handle and the hilt. Very, very nice, man. Front to back. Absolutely love that. So yeah, love the Quasar Saber. One of my favorite Power Ranger weapons for sure. Aesthetically, you know, I love the way this thing looks. So he does come with that. And then the one accessory that I was mentioning earlier that he does not come with is the Quasar launcher, or yeah, I think that's what they're called, like the big bazooka type like barrel gun thing that they use in the show. But thinking back on the show, I feel like Leo didn't use the Quasar launcher all that much. I feel like the other Rangers did more. I want to say like Maya, the Yellow Ranger, I think she used it a lot. I think maybe Damon, the Green Ranger, he might have used it, or Kai, I don't know. I feel like there were like two Rangers that used it like definitely more than the rest of the team, but Leo himself, I don't think he used it all that much. He was more of a like sword wielder, so he would usually just, you know, pull out the Quasar Saber and get down to business, which I liked. You know, he did not play around. But yeah, so I'm not really tripping that they didn't include the Quasar launcher. I just wanted to see, I couldn't remember when I unboxed it if they had included it, so I checked right before the review. And yeah, he does not come with that. But, you know, if SooSoo does the rest of the team, which I hope they do, they'll probably include the Quasar launcher with at least one of the other Rangers. So that'll be nice to see in 1/6 scale. And of course, he does come with his ankle extenders. So again, if you are a 3-0 collector or collect like a similar scale to 3-0 for like your Rangers and stuff, then you know, these ankle extenders will definitely help boost the height of these SooSoo Rangers so that they can fit in with your collection. So you have those if you want to install them, boost the height a little bit. But all right, so that's it for the accessories. So let's get to the actual figure himself. And man, does this guy look amazing. I mean, are we really surprised at this point? SooSoo has been knocking it out of the park with all these Rangers thus far, so I'm not surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, this guy looks absolutely amazing. I really do like the design of Lost Galaxy. It's kind of basic, but you know, I do like it. You know, people call this the Charlie Brown pattern. I've called it that before. But yeah, I really like you know, the spiky like little zigzag black pattern there. Almost looks like some black vital signs or something, you know. So you know, Leo is definitely not flatlining anytime soon. All right, but yeah, this looks very, very nice. The red again is a very, very nice true red. It's very shiny. I just love how the fabric looks. And even the white, you know, the white is basically, it's similar to the white that they use for the Dino Thunder White Ranger. I don't know if it's exactly the same though, because it does definitely have like that kind of pearlescent shiny look to it. But like, you know, it gives it like a nice shadowing effect. As you can see, like in the chest, you can see there's like some darker parts like in where the lighting hits it, which is really cool. But I have the Dino Thunder White Ranger here on the side, and as I'm looking at them both, it feels like it may not be exactly the same like shade of white, but it's definitely similar in how it like reflects the light between both of them. So that's pretty cool. I like the helmet design, so let's pull him in close to look at the helmet. And again, of course, it is done in that matte style that SooSoo is, known for doing, but it is very, very nicely detailed. So you got all the details of the lion. He is like a lion too, very similar to Wild Force. It's kind of funny how those seasons were so close and they had like very similar animal motifs for their helmet, but like they're both like red lions, right? Technically, but this looks really cool. You got the green eyes for his lion. And then the visor itself is kind of like a very square, like rectangular type of visor with like, the very like sharp, not sharp, but like just very like flat edges basically. And then you have ranger mouth, which, some people prefer, some people don't prefer. I don't mind it too much. Me and that Metromania have talked about it before, like with ranger mouth. I guess it really just depends on the ranger and their designs. Like I feel like for some rangers it looks good, other rangers not so much. On this guy, I definitely don't mind it. I feel like it fits, his design. So I think that's pretty cool. You got that kind of silver, little thing for the ranger mouth down there. And you got, your black lining for the side of the helmet, which looks very, very nice. And on the top here, you got this nice kind of mustard color for the these like lines that go down his helmet. You got that thick one in the middle and then all those thin ones on the side, but that looks pretty good to me. And obviously same thing on the other side. It's a symmetrical pattern for his helmet all the way to the back there, and you even got a little bit of line work down here wrapping around the helmet from the front. So yeah, that looks really good, very show accurate as far as I can tell. I don't see any missing details from memory recall, so that looks really good. Really, really nice, sharp, tight line work in there, great paint work, and a nice, pretty shiny visor. So at least, the visor reflects light, which is pretty nice. So yeah, he's looking great, man. So let's go ahead and get into play and display. We'll take one last close look at him, and then we'll get into some size comparisons. All right, so for articulation, starting with the head articulation, of course, we are able to move his head down this much so he can tuck his chin in just like all the other rangers that we looked at, which is great. Excellent range there. Looking back, he can look up really, really nicely. You can crank the neck back pretty far and you can look up pretty high there, which is great. All right, and of course you got your side to side movement, side to side rotation. You can actually get a full 360 on that joint, and you get some tilting side to side, some great head tilt in there as well, which is great. All right, and for the arms, out to the side, let's see, push it, slowly push it a little bit higher, and yeah, you can get it better than, perfectly straight out to the side, so kind of like a Y pose like the other ones that we looked at. If you really push it, you can get it, yeah, about like right there before it starts to kind of click. But yeah, that's pretty nice range going up. And obviously back down by his sides. It's really, really dope. Nice and natural. They come nice and close to the body, which looks great. I really, really like that. And you have your butterfly joint, so you got some forward lateral motion, backwards lateral motion, forward and back, pretty nice range there, very, very good, and the fabric moves with it very well. And you can swing the arm forward all the way up to about there, almost like perfectly straight up. So excellent, excellent range there. And going backwards, about the same thing, right? Let's see, keep pushing it. And he's gonna go all the way to about, I'd say like right there. So yeah, this guy's got some extreme dexterity to him. Excellent range of motion for front and back. And of course you have like that inside the skeleton, you have like a kind of bicep swivel, so you can swivel him where the bicep would be, in and out like that, which is really, really great. You got your double jointed elbows, which look pretty nice. You know, they can, again, look a little weird in certain positions depending on how you have them posed, but from the side, not too bad. Sometimes it looks like he has like two elbows depending on like where you're looking, but you know, he's just got like a long extension, I guess, for the elbow joint, but he does get some great crunching range out of that, which is awesome. Far, far better than 90 degrees. I mean, you can almost like basically touch his forearm to his biceps, so that is great, great range. And in the torso, we're able to crunch forward this much, about the same as all the other reds we've been looking at. And see, that's another thing is like when you crunch this, you're gonna see the, you know, this like leathery material kind of scrunch up. It's gonna wrinkle and it's gonna kind of stand out from the rest of his suit. So it's gonna be a little bit noticeable there. So just be aware of that. But, you know, he can at least get some decent range crunching forward and then leaning back. You can't get him going about that far, which is very, very nice. Same as the other ranges. So very, very nice limbo leaning back range there. And for some twist action in the torso, you can twist a little bit side to side. And again, just be aware that this is definitely gonna like wrinkle up. You wanna be careful. Definitely don't try to rip that. So don't twist it too much, but he does twist a little bit side to side. I realized I've been forgetting to do some side tilting action for these guys. I think that's one area of range I've kind of missed. So yeah, he can lean a little bit to each side as well, using his torso. So he does get a little bit of side to side leaning in there. All right, a little bit of all right, so that is nice. So yeah, the other reds that should be able to do, you know, the same thing because they are built on the same type of bodies. Kicking forward, of course, he gets his nice full 90 degrees front kick. Very, very nice there, 90-degree angle, kicking back. Only about that much to be expected, of course, because of the sculpt. And then you have your double jointed knees that bend back quite far. He's able to just about kick his own butt, which is cool. Come back down. And for out to the side, we should be able to get just about a full splits. So yeah, you can kind of hear it clicking in there, the ratchets, but as you keep pushing it, yeah, you should be able to get a nice full splits out of that. Let's see, you keep pushing it, one more click, and there you go. Now you have your basically full splits, full kick out to the side. So hiya. Yeah. And you know, if you're able to get these guys to balance, man, they should be able to hold some really cool poses. Like just imagine like Leo doing a high kick like this. If you get him to stand or balance like that, you probably obviously use the stand that he comes with to help him out. But these are pretty well balanced figures as well. So I mean, for him to be able to do a high kick like that would be crazy. Quite the pose. I'm sure if you like messed with, oh, look at that. Oh, I actually got it. Look at that. That's crazy on camera. Barely, I don't know how I pulled that off, but like I was about to say, like I'm sure if you messed around with it enough, you could definitely get him doing a high kick, and you can see I just did it. Oh, there he goes. I caught him though. But yeah, if you find the right, pose, right sweet spot, you can definitely get him to balance and do a nice high kick. So yeah, these guys are some amazing posers. Not posers, like not saying they're fake or anything. I mean, like posing wise, they are, dope. Let's not get it twisted. All right, got to clear that up. But yeah, these cuffs on him are, of course, separate pieces. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the hands. So the hands do rotate just like all the other ones. They do have a full 360 on that joint, and you can move them up a little bit, up and down. So that looks pretty good, as well as in and out. Just a little bit of range away from the body and towards the body like that. And for the feet, I think I'm gonna do this one this time. You can kind of see like his skeleton under there is a little bit exposed, but that's not too bad. You can always push the fabric down. But range wise, oh, there it goes, popping off. But yeah, you could basically pop that back on. Should be able to get it to just about the tippy toes. If you really work it, it might pop off a little before then, but you got some decent range going down there, Kicking up is pretty good as well, as you see, before it hits the boot. And let's see, push this down a bit, and you got your nice ankle pivot rocker in there. Trying to make sure it stays on the joint, as well as some rotation side to side for the foot. So yeah, man, these guys have some absolutely incredible range, especially for their scale. I was really impressed with how these guys were able to pose in 6 scale. I mean, they just absolutely killed it with the bodies and like the posability. Just did an absolutely fantastic job. But yeah, so let's pull them in for one last close look, and then we shall do size comparisons. All right, because we got more Red Rangers to review. But yeah, let me back them up here a little bit. And I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see some of these details. All right, so zooming in on the suit, or actually I guess I'll just actually bring him in closer. I think that'll be easier. But yeah, you can see, hopefully now that he's close up, you can tell like this is definitely a different material down here. It's like that leathery kind of vinyl type material that was used on the White Ranger, but obviously in red now. You've got your seam lines going down the side, which you know, are pretty nicely hidden, especially like by the arms and stuff, so that's pretty cool. You got some really nice detail on the holster for his you know, the closed version of his Quasar Saber with some gold. I forgot to mention that. This very nice pattern there. The V on the belt, the gold V with the black, and then or like the buckle, I mean, and then of course, you know, the white belt. You can see a very nice shiny red to the fabric itself. These kind of spiky patterns, I had to like look it up to see if this was accurate, but yeah, they are supposed to be kind of like cut off at the top here. They are supposed to like flatten out at the boot. What's interesting about the forearm cuffs is that they do get kind of like a little bit of like a break, but it's like, the way I have it, I don't know if this is right in the show, but the way I have it right now is like it's in the back so you won't really see it, but like where these lines are, where they connect, you can see like the spiky pattern has like a little bit of separation before it continues on the other side, so that's just something to mention. But yeah, and then you got your seam line, of course, down the middle in the back, but it's pretty nicely hidden, especially by like this zigzag pattern. And yeah, all around, man, he just looks absolutely great. Fantastic. So yeah, they nailed it with the details on this guy. Absolutely incredible figure. So let's go ahead, waste no time. Let's get into size comparison so we can close it out. It's our boy Leo, Lost Galaxy Red. All right, so let's get him with the other Red Rangers that we've looked at. Here we have Wild Force Red right here on this side, and Turbo Red that we just looked at recently, yesterday, or I guess today, because that's when the review went up. But yeah, there we have those three, and man, do they look good. I'm loving how all these Red Rangers looked. I just unboxed Connor, and I had him stand beside these guys, and they all look so freaking good together. What's so amazing to me again is the fact that I swear they all have like different shades of red, like just slightly, but they do have like varying shades of red through their costumes. So hopefully that's coming off on camera. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. But I absolutely love like the distinction that SooSoo is putting in all of these Rangers. I mean, they look absolutely incredible, and just like the subtle differences in red really make them pop and stand out next to one another. So I really like that. And all these great designs, very different designs, but very cool. So yeah, our Forever Red collection is coming along slowly but surely in 1/6 scale. All right, so let's bring in Dino Thunder White, and then we have Dino Thunder Black on this side. Mr. Tommy and Trent next to him, and I gotta say they look really nice. They scale very well, and yeah, they just look absolutely incredible. So I'm loving it. Let's move these two. We'll get the Ninja Storm Green, and we'll bring in this Spider-Man figure from when I was a kid, around the same scale. So that looks fantastic. Love it. Oh yeah, that looks excellent. And last but not least, we'll bring in this Galactus figure. A little bit bigger, but you can kind of get a sense of how he scales. So yeah, that's gonna do it for my review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you enjoyed it. and other things that you want to see on the channel. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Go Galactic!